Hello again, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Fantasy Sports Boss Fantasy Football Podcast. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, the notification, and the like button. So things are certainly heating up again as we move closer to the season and the next batch of preseason games, which really is the first preseason game for the majority of the league, other than the Jets and the Browns. Who took part in a completely meaningless Hall of Fame game that was impossible to watch even just a few snaps. I mean, I couldn't do it. I tried just because it's football, right? Football's back, but I couldn't even stomach sitting there watching that level of football with second and third string guys in there. But at least we're taking another step closer to the start of the season. Of course, whether you have your draft now or further into the summer, the news of the day always important, and some potentially big news concerning Josh Jacobs that I'm going to get to. Plus, I wanted to discuss the wide receivers a little bit more in depth today in terms of how safe they are connected to their quarterback and what in terms of health and things of that nature, which I'm going to get into, and also some frustrations, some personal frustrations I need to vent about one of my fantasy football leagues, and I'm sure you could all relate. So I'll get to all of that soon. As far as the schedule for the rest of the week, definitely a football Friday, no doubt about it. Looking to do maybe 4 o'clock Eastern time. So make sure you bring your questions and jump on in. Always a good time on Football Friday. Another podcast will drop tomorrow as well. So a lot of stuff coming up. And of course, once the season starts, it's just going to be endless videos, endless streams, podcasts, live streams, all that good stuff. So make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. So the New York Giants travel to Detroit, to Michigan to practice against the Lions in a 2-day scrimmage, basically like a 7-on-7 situation. And apparently, the Giants passing game, which was, the talk of training camp to this point, struggled tremendously. Now, Darren Waller was getting open left and right, according to the team's beat reporters, but Daniel Jones just was not able to hit the deeper passes. He missed Jalen Hyatt deep. He missed Darren Waller a couple of times on the intermediate range. And that's concerning because, Daniel Jones is right there in that top 12 for me, fantasy quarterbacks. And I think he's one of those guys you have to end up with because of the dual threat running, passing acumen that he brings to the table, which, there's only, 9, 10, 11 guys that fit that profile. I mean, you could throw Anthony Richardson in there, but that's probably, a story for the second half of the season because he needs a lot of work. He needs a lot of work in the finer points of being a quarterback. And I don't think he's going to start the season on time. And even if he does, there's going to be some pronounced growing pains. There just has to be. He hardly played in college, and he's got a lot of mechanical things that he needs to clean up. But yeah, so the Giants, they're an intriguing team on both sides of the ball. The Giants defense, I think, is very solid. I mean, they have a very good defensive line. They brought in the linebacker from Indy, Bobby Okereke, who really is 100 tackle a year plus guy. They have a secondary that's improving with Deonte Banks, their first round pick from Maryland, who's drawing rave reviews. Xavier McKinney still there, potential star safety. So this defense, from a fantasy perspective, actually could be pretty good too. So, but they are in a division with Dallas and Philadelphia, which makes things a little bit more difficult. But in terms, again, Daniel Jones, we want to see more of that passing improvement, better accuracy, especially on the, and to this point, he has thrown a fairly deep ball. So I'm going to chalk that up to the struggles against the Lions, just to, first time facing an opposing defense, really, because going against your own team, your own teammates on defense, it's not the same. So we're just going to chalk that up to maybe it's just some initial nerves and whatnot. But I'm very curious to see what happens with Daniel Jones this season, for sure, from a fantasy perspective. All right, so talking about Josh Jacobs, the latest batch of rumors is that both the Denver Broncos and the Kansas City Chiefs are after him. And this is interesting, at least from the Broncos' perspective, because they've gotten nothing but good news about Javonte Williams, who's going to be in uniform week 1. Now, is he going to get a full complement of carries? No, he's not. But Samaje Perine was brought in personally by Sean Payton. Payton wanted him. He likes Perine. He said he's got big plans for Perine. So it seems like it would be a weird fit for Josh Jacobs, who's a ball-dominant runner who could do it all. I mean, 350-plus touches last year, astronomical season across the board. Running it, catching it, you name it, Josh Jacobs did it. So I think the Broncos would be a little bit of a weird fit for him. The Chiefs, on the other hand, if Jacobs goes to the Kansas City Chiefs, that would be a home run for him. And a home run for fantasy football owners of Jacobs to this point, who's still being drafted early in the second round, because the thinking is, it's only a matter of time. He's 18 overall, so he's in the middle of the second round. So running back 8, still behind Jonathan Taylor, which I'm a little surprised at. And the Taylor situation's getting messier because he's away from the team now with renewed problems with his ankle, which is why Kareem Hunt is now going to visit them, which I talked about yesterday. But as far as Josh Jacobs is concerned, I've said this before, the Raiders, it can get ugly real quick with this team because they're just not a good team. They're not. And Jimmy Garoppolo, is a step down from Derek Carr, in my opinion. Derek Carr throws a good deep ball, very durable. These are things that Garoppolo is not. He's certainly not durable. He misses games every year, and he doesn't throw a good deep ball. So that doesn't exactly jive with Davante Adams. That's why I'm a little down on Davante Adams this season, and also being connected to a quarterback who can't stay on the field, which is kind of the gist of the main feature I want to talk about today in terms of the wide receivers and which wide receivers are safer, which ones are more risky, based solely on the health availability, tendencies of their quarterback. And this is something that gets overlooked a lot when it comes to fantasy football, when evaluating wide receivers. This year we have a lot of wideouts who are kind of in that same draft area code, whether it's, CeeDee Lamb, A.J. Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Davante Adams, Garrett Wilson. All 5 of those guys are being drafted in different orders. You could make a case for all 5 of them to be drafted ahead of the other 4. Hell, even Stephon Diggs. I mean, he's before all those guys, but not as much as you think. So, up to the minute in PPR right now, it's obviously Jefferson, Chase, Kupp, and Hill, and then Diggs. Diggs has been in that 5 spot. But right now, CeeDee Lamb is 6, Adams is 7, Brown is 8, Amon-Ra St. Brown is 9 in terms of wide receivers, not overall, and Garrett Wilson is 10. And then you have that next tier with Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith. That's really, to me, the beginning of the wide receiver 2s is Jalen Waddle, because he's a wide receiver 2 on his own team. I think the wide receiver 1s go 10 deep through Garrett Wilson. Now, Chris Olave, who's wide receiver 14, absolutely could be a wide receiver 1. DK Metcalf, wide receiver 15, same thing, although there's a lot of competition. Calvin Ridley, a lot of competition, has to work off some rust. He's wide receiver 17. He could be there as well. But what I have done myself is when it comes to comparable receivers, a great way to break ties is to take into account the quarterback situation. Now, Stephon Diggs, for example, is obviously he's got Josh Allen throwing to him. Josh Allen is as durable as it gets. All right, doesn't miss games. He is built like a rock. Despite playing a little reckless at times, running the football, he never misses time. He's just a always out there, tough, you name it. That's Josh Allen is the epitome of being what a durable quarterback is. So when you draft Stephon Diggs, you have that comfort knowing that he's going to have his ace quarterback there every game. Cooper Kupp and Tyreek Hill, who are both being drafted ahead of Diggs, don't have that luxury. Both Hill and Waddle have Tua Tagovailoa. He is not going to play every game this season. It's just not going to happen. One more concussion could be it. He contemplated retirement this past offseason. That's how bad the concussions were last year. And it was scary. Some of those scenes with the trans-like look on his face, the fingers, everything. It was disturbing what Tua Tagovailoa went through last year. He doesn't move very well. He's not a runner, so he's susceptible to the big hit, as is Matthew Stafford, who himself dealt with concussions and a scary spinal issue. So Cooper Kupp, same thing. Even though Kupp and Hill are being drafted ahead of Diggs, I'd rather have Diggs over both of them based on the quarterback availability issue. Now, no question, all things being equal, Tyreek Hill can will probably outproduce Stephon Diggs in yardage for sure. Receptions might be closer than you think. Touchdowns, Diggs actually had more than Hill last season. Cooper Kupp is arguably the top receiver not named Justin Jefferson. On a per-game basis, Cooper Kupp last year was the wide receiver 1. He was the top scoring receiver in points per game, even above Justin Jefferson. And then he got hurt. He is not a guy who's overly durable himself with 2 serious injuries the last 4 years, and he's dealing with a hamstring issue right now. And with his quarterback having his own problems, Kupp is extremely, extremely risky. Not only because of his own health, the awful state of his offense, the offensive line, and his quarterback's issue staying on the field as well. Justin Jefferson, much, much safer, in my opinion, than Jamar Chase because he's durable. Chase has missed time with injury. Kirk Cousins, quarterback from Minnesota, doesn't miss time with injury. Joe Burrow has, and he's hurt again right now with the calf injury. Has had a torn ACL in his past. So if you're trying to break a tie between those two, and I admit I had Chase first before this thing with Burrow. But another thing I didn't take into consideration is, if you look at where they're playing, Minnesota versus Cincinnati, I think Jefferson's got like 9 or 10 games in domes. Chase, like 1 or 2. Now, I don't have those numbers exactly right in front of me, but Jefferson has a ton of games in a dome. Not only his home games, but Detroit, and Chase hardly any. So weather is not going to be a factor. Weather will not impact Justin Jefferson. Remember, weather is always an important factor to consider when you're drafting certain players, like the Josh Allens, like the Stephon Diggs, like any of the the New England Patriot guys, the Green Bay Packer guys, the Chicago Bear guys, because off weather, wind, snow, rain, cold rain, ice, that really can have a detrimental effect on a player. So you ride a player all season, and then all of a sudden the fantasy playoffs arrive and you have a blizzard in Buffalo and Josh Allen doesn't do shit. So these are things that you have to be cognizant of. Chase is more risky than Jefferson. So how about this? Amon-Ra St. Brown, Zach Wilson, Devontae Adams, CeeDee Lamb, A.J. Brown. Those 5 guys, right? If you look at the quarterbacks, St. Brown and Wilson have the much durable quarterbacks, especially St. Brown. Jared Goff had a very good year last year. He's durable. People like to hate on Jared Goff. I admit it. He's had some rough years in the past. But he was very, very good last year, especially at home. And he plays every game. So Amon-Ra St. Brown will have his quarterback there almost every game. Aaron Rodgers had some injury issues earlier in his career, but him too. He's always out there, even though he's getting older. So Wilson, a little safer. CeeDee Lamb, his quarterback, Dak Prescott's had some problems staying healthy. The broken ankle a couple of years ago, missed some time last year as well. And now you have Brandon Cooks coming in, who's a very capable receiver. Devontae Adams, I told you about Jimmy Garoppolo. He's not going to stay healthy. You could take it to the bank. Him and Tua Tagovailoa, you could just take it to the bank. They're going to get hurt. So that's going to impact Adams' numbers. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Jalen Hurts is a smaller quarterback. He missed time last year, the second half of the year. He runs a lot. Talking about Jalen Hurts. If he takes a big hit on that smallish frame, that could be trouble. DK Metcalf, Calvin Ridley, Amari Cooper, all have quarterbacks who are very durable. So you feel more confident drafting those guys. Jalen Waddle, we talked about his quarterback again, Tua Tagovailoa. Not always very dependable. The Charger guys, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, very, very durable, tough quarterback, Justin Herbert. He'll play every game, no matter what. So you can count on him being out there. So these are things you have to take into consideration. Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Brock Purdy, we don't know if he could stay healthy. Trey Lance certainly couldn't. Sam Darnold really hasn't been able to in his career. Tyler Lockett is safe. Christian Kirk is safe, relatively speaking. We don't know about Jahan Dotson and Terry McLaurin. So these are all things you got to think about. Kadarius Toney, who's expected to be ready week 1, but I mean, do you want to try this again? And I'm really curious still with that Kansas City wide receiver situation. I still like Richie James. There's really been no clarity. And Robert Saleh just now said that Aaron Rodgers is not going to play in the preseason game Saturday for the Jets. And the Jets are having joint practices with the Carolina Panthers the next 2 days. So that'll be interesting to see what happens there. I don't think Rodgers is going to play a single snap this preseason. Main guys, key players just don't play. Even if they, in a preseason, even if they play for like a series or 2, maybe in a 3rd preseason game, that's about it. There's just no need to do it. Preseason, in my opinion, should be eliminated completely. If you want to have one game, to have the second and third teamers play so you can get a look at them, then, okay, I'm fine with that. But I think preseason is just an unnecessary risk. Completely unnecessary risk. And, nobody wants to draft while preseason is going on because they're afraid the guys that they draft are going to get hurt. Joe Biscaglia of The Athletic says Josh Allen has complete trust in tight end Dalton Kincaid. So this is the kind of shit that you keep hearing in the preseason, like stuff like this. He's got a great rapport with the quarterback. He's in the best shape of his life. He's running faster than ever. Came in looking like Mr. Wonder, Mount Olympus. It's just noise. It's just noise. Dalton Kincaid, does he have a chance to contribute as a rookie in fantasy? Yes. I think Sam Laporte is going to have the better initial impact because the Lions have nobody else besides Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I think Laporte is going to be a big red zone guy. Whereas on the Bills, Dawson Knox is still going to be a big red zone guy. Stephon Diggs is going to get his 10+. So I'm not chasing him, Dalton Kincaid, as much. Damian Harris dealing with a knee injury. Missed the second half of Tuesday's practice and was seen pointing at his right knee while walking around the practice field. Did not participate in Wednesday's practice. Concerning development for Harris, who missed 14 games over the past 3 seasons with New England. A sustained absence from training camp will give Latavius Murray the edge on Buffalo's big back role behind James Cook. All right. So that's a decent news item. Damian Harris, who was mentioned has a history of knee trouble. James Cook is becoming a little bit of a wise guy pick in fantasy. He's moving himself into almost the 5th round now, which to me is just ridiculous. He's never been a bell cow guy, even going back to college. I've said that a million times at Georgia. Does he have ability? Absolutely. He averaged over 5 yards per carry as a rookie. He can catch the ball, no doubt. He's not going to be the goal line back. They'll just give it to Latavius Murray then if Damian Harris is out. Now, if Harris is out, that might free up some more work for Cook. Listen, I think Cook is on that running back 2 or 3 border in PPR. Ideally, he's running back 3. Get him as a running back 3, I'm good with that. But anything more than that, no. He's not built to be, like a DeAndre Swift. That's the kind of guy James Cook's going to be. And that could work in a PPR league if he catches over 50 passes. But I'm not going crazy about him, for sure. Zamir White listed as the top back on the Raiders depth chart while Josh Jacobs is away. No surprise there. So Zamir White, another Georgia guy, he's one of those classic run, no catch backs. He's not going to help you in PPR. All right. He's a good runner, solid runner, did some good stuff in college, but was knocked for his inability to catch the football. And that's going to be, that will make him just really only of use in standard leagues, not in PPR. So even if he becomes a starter, if Josh Jacobs does get traded, that's not going to, it's not going to do it. He's not going to be useful in PPR. We talked about Kareem Hunt, Dalvin Cook. Let me see if there's anything new on Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook posts cryptic workout video amid Jets-Dolphins buzz. All right. So I don't know why that would be cryptic. Cook will have a say. All right, let's see. Workout video. All right, I guess he had a good workout video. And wasn't hesitant. No deal came. Many Dolphins fans. Okay. Oh, that's what it was. So he's posted this video, this workout video where he's in Miami. They could see the palm trees in the background. So maybe, people are thinking he's going to go to Miami. The fact that he's still not signed is, he's lost a step for sure. Maybe it's more than a step. I mean, if teams aren't signing him. So nothing, it seems like Cook is really just trying to draw up interest in himself, and it's not working. All right, Ezekiel Elliott, I don't think there's anything going on with him either. I know the Patriots have been connected to him. Since if I backup injured. All right, San Francisco 49. All right, yeah, so this is something that's been discussed as well. I saw that Elijah Mitchell, who can't ever stay healthy with the 49ers, that he's hurt again. Maybe the 49ers kick the tires on Elliott. I mean, as a backup, maybe. I don't think that's a good fit for him. He would be, if Damian Harris is severely injured, he would be an option, I think, for Buffalo, where he could be the goal line back there. And say what you want. He did a good job with that. Cowboys Ezekiel, what? Whoa. Cowboys Ezekiel Elliott interest just got real. Oh, God. See, every Tony Pollard owner who's already drafted, this is the shit that they're dreading. The Dallas Cowboys, this is from John Bueller of Fansided. I don't even know what this is. Dallas Cowboys appear to have some palpable interest in bringing back Ezekiel Elliott. New developments suggest Elliott could be returning to the Dallas Cowboys after all. Oh, God. Jeff Howard, The Athletic, reported the Cowboys, along with the Jets, seem to have the most interest. As long as Elliott's free agent continues to draw out, the better chance that he returns to Dallas. See, this is what I've been saying all along. This is what I've been saying. And I almost wonder if Elliott's waiting for this. So, he visited with the Patriots. Nothing came about it. Jerry Jones loves Ezekiel Elliott. He can bring him back on a team-friendly contract and continue to use him the way he did last year when he ran for 12 touchdowns. And this would be, a big hurt, not a big hurt, but a sizable enough hurt on Tony Pollard, who was a low-end running back one in PPR last year. He scored 9 touchdowns on the ground. But the opportunity share would be bigger if Elliott were out of the way. I've said all along too, I don't think Dallas is comfortable completely with envisioning Pollard having a full allotment of carries. I just don't see him being a 20 carry per game guy for the duration of the season. I just don't. So these Elliott rumors are just not going to go away. And I really do believe at some point, and Elliott's a veteran, so and he knows the system in Dallas, right? Even though that McCarthy's taken over play calling, he's played under McCarthy, so he's gonna know the situation there in terms of what he expects. So I think he can miss most of summer and just come right in and be in uniform week 1. So I don't see that being an issue. All right, nothing new on Leonard Fournette. It is completely quiet. The last item on him was when he visited New England. Jeez, Leonard Fournette could really help people. I don't know if it's an attitude issue with him. He could really catch the football. He could still catch 60-plus passes in his sleep. And he did that for Tampa last year. He looked to be on fumes as a runner. But, don't forget, Rachaad White averaged less than 4 yards per carry on that behind that awful offensive line as well. So I think we need to cut Fournette a little bit of slack as a runner. But, yeah, I find it strange that he hasn't signed yet because, he has a fantasy PPR-friendly profile where he can help catching the football. Leonard Fournette can. So, a little bit surprised that nothing has come about when it comes to Fournette. All right, so let me get to I got to gripe a little bit. Being the commissioner of a fantasy football league fucking sucks. There's, excuse my French, but there's just no other word for it. So I'm in 2 leagues and I'm the commissioner of both. It's a thankless job. You got to chase people down for money. You got to organize everything. You got to deal with everybody's complaining. You have to deal with setting up the draft. And setting up the draft has become the biggest ball of stress you could imagine, more than any other issue, at least for me, in one of my leagues. So the one friends and family league that I've been the commissioner in, we've gone over 20 years now. All right, and this started when I was in college. So I mean I'm getting a little bit older. Majority of this, and it's been a 10-team league forever. I would say everybody, my dad's in this league, my best friend's in this league, good friends and family, we've had the same people in this league this whole time pretty much. Coming, one or two will come and go, and some even return. So it's been great. But scheduling and doing the draft has become a fucking nightmare of the last couple of years. Now, when we were younger, nobody had kids, the vast majority of us at least, still living at home, all lived in the same neighborhood. It was easy to get everybody together, right? Now we're older, we're all married, we got family obligations, we got kids, we got work. My dad's free because he's retired, so he's down for whatever, but everybody else, there's like a million different schedules that you have to work around. So I put it out like last month. These are the dates: Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, PM on Thursday, Friday, AM Saturday and Sunday, right? And vote on it. Let's get a consensus. This is when it'll be. Well, I mean, I think the biggest date was like 5 or 6 people that most could agree on. So that's like a little bit more than half the league. And then I'm like, all right, so, come to my house, we'll do the draft. And then only like 5 people can make it to my house to do the draft. So then the rest got to do it virtually. And then one who was going to come to the house just told me a couple of days ago, oh, now, I might be going on a trip get baseball autographs or whatever. I'm like, what? Like baseball autographs? Who gives a shit about baseball? This is our fantasy draft. And you're telling me this now after we set the date already. And nobody wants to do a Yahoo online draft because Yahoo online drafts are just hideous. People get bumped off. It's just, it drafts you the automatically highest guy. It just sucks. If you get kicked off, you end up with guys you don't want. It's not fun. The chat, it's not the same. So for me and us, it's always been in person or we got to do virtual. During COVID, we did virtual, right? And it, we made the best of it. But when you have half the people that want to come to the house, half that want to do it virtual, it becomes a pain. And then you have a situation, okay, they're virtual. This guy can't get on. This guy's late. I have one of my cousins in the league is always late for everything. He oversleeps. There's just something. There's always something. And then he'll be late, and then we got to wait. And then, do I just give him the top-ranked guy? Do I do that? You got to worry about feelings in a friend's family league because it's friends and family. You can't fuck them over. Right? It's... So it's a no-win situation. The rule always is, the unofficial rule, you can't make the draft. Either submit a list to somebody who can draft for you, and ordinarily I usually, as a commissioner, have to do that, which distracts me from my own draft. Or, you get the highest ranked guy. So what I suggested in the one league, now my work league, we have the draft set. We're all going to meet at a fellow teacher's office, and we're good. Everybody's coming, all 12. It's great. So we made it happen in that league. That's the league that I have the number 8 pick in. But my 10-team friends and family league, oh, what a nightmare. So then I said, well, you know what? Let's just do the slow draft. All right, it's your turn. Just give a name. We've done the slow draft before. It works. And, anybody who's familiar with a slow draft, when it's your turn, you post it on a Facebook page or the Yahoo page or whatever your league. And then the next guy goes, he gets a certain, if it's your turn, you get you guys ready. So when it's your turn, you just, okay, this is who I want. And you move on. And you could be done in a week or two. And I actually don't mind it because it kind of drags out the draft a little bit, which is the best part. Gives you some more time to evaluate. But there's been disagreement on that now too. Oh, it's too early. wanted to start that. Oh, it's too early. I hate the slow draft. I'm at work. I got to do this. Like, just stop. We all work. Like, if I know, like, okay, slow draft, I'm picking in 5 picks, right? I'm going to have 2 or 3 guys ready. So when I get the message, okay, it's your turn, and I get the text, because we send the text out every time somebody picks, up to date. Okay, I see who's picked. Give me Calvin Ridley. I'm good. I don't have to go fucking research anything. Like, I'm ready. Like, what do you have to look at? Like, we all know all these players, right? Like, I just don't get it. Oh, I'm working. We're all working. Like, we all get breaks, right? We all have a lunch break. Every second of every day is we're not working. You know, we get home from work eventually. And listen, I have 2 kids. I work. I coach. I could still run 2 leagues and make picks. It's really not that difficult. And then, oh, guys get hurt in preseason. Yes, guys get hurt in preseason. Guys get hurt in practice during the regular season. We're all in the same boat. I lost Julian Edelman 1 year in preseason. I lost Jordy Nelson in preseason 1 year. Tough shit. It happens. It happens to all of us. Fine, it's too early. The top guys don't even play in the preseason anymore. Saquon Barkley, I don't think has taken a snap in preseason in like 3 years. Aaron Rodgers is not going to play a single snap for the Jets. So these guys are not even playing. Can something happen like Joe Burrow hurting his calf in practice? Yes, but that can happen at any point. It just drives me crazy. Organizing a draft sucks. It's just brutal. And it shouldn't be that way. Honestly, it really shouldn't. I love getting everybody together. But everybody has different schedules. On vacation, I got this, I got that. I understand. But when we have, the only solution is to do like a slow draft, then you just got to go with it. That's it. If we lose somebody, then that's just how it goes. There is no, dark cloud hanging over one of us that, all the guys I pick are going to get hurt. So there's just some things. And then chasing the money down. I mean, come on. If you're in a league, pay on time. I mean, that's all you got to do. Just pay on time. It's so easy. Send a fucking Venmo. That's all you got to do. Boom, 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 boom. Paid. I don't understand people who don't pay on time. I just don't get it. Yeah, you got to throw those people out. But when you're in a friends and family league, I mean, what are you going to do? It's a thankless job, man. It's a thankless job. And then people bitch about everything. Oh, this isn't fair. The thing with Yahoo where you could put guys who are missing the game on the IR spot. I can't tell you. And that's what caused Tommy Pham to slap the shit out of the guy on San Francisco. I forget his name. Because the Jock Peterson put a guy in because Yahoo lets you, if he's not on IR, but he misses a game with injury, you could put him on the injured list for that week's game and pick somebody else up. It's allowed by Yahoo. So Tommy Pham went apeshit. He didn't think this was right, and then the whole thing blew up. And I got complaints about this as well. Like, I mean, guys, just stop. It's fantasy football. It's meant to be fun. All right? Anyway, I got to take my blood pressure. All right, so anyway, guys, new podcast dropping tomorrow. Make sure you look for that. Hit the subscribe button. Live stream on Friday. Maybe impromptu stream at any point if anything big happens. So that's why you got to hit the notification button. I'll see you soon.